Coach, huge come from behind 4-3 overtime win. Can you just talk about what was said and the feeling of your group between the second and third?
We talked all year about reloading mentally and physically and emotionally. It's something we had trouble doing at the beginning of the year. We got quite a few emotional guys in there, and we also have guys that haven't had the experience yet in tough moments. And I think as we saw our team grow throughout the year, we've developed a soul. We've also developed a capacity to overcome adversity during games and from game to game, and that's something we did not have at the beginning of the year at all. So I think now the resiliency that our players have displayed for the 2/3 of the last portion of the year came out again today, and what we talked about was the same as we've been talking. It's adversity builds you or destroys you, and we choose to see it as a builder. And between the second and third, that's we're not in the past. There's nothing we could do about that second period. Made a mistake, and we just got to go out there and one goal, and the rest didn't matter. So the players we wanted 60 minutes of pushing the pace, which we did not have the previous game. We didn't close the game on the previous game, and we wanted our third period to look like it did there, and it did. So we stuck to the plan.
Speaking of soul and resiliency, a big part of that, MacArthur, just say what his goal means to that team.
I'll be honest with you. For me personally, I had the goosebumps and everything you can imagine, because what he's been through. How much the players care, and so do I. And after seeing everything that it took for him to come back is one thing, and then see him play that good is another. But to actually get a goal in the playoffs, and when he raised his arms, I think the whole city did at the same time, and it was very special. One of the most special moments I've lived as a coach, because it's everybody in the rink and the players and the organization celebrating something that must have been very, very tough to live all year, and it comes at a perfect time.
Finally, you go down to 5D very early. Can you just talk about the play of your group, and then do you have an update on Mark Borowiecki?
Yeah, he'll be day-to-day. He was going to come back, and we told him just stay put. We don't want to aggravate it. It actually looked better after the game, and we'll see. The good thing is we got good quality depth with our defensemen, so we'll see if next game he's okay. But they lost a guy too, so it's like it seems every game everybody's losing a guy, and that's playoffs. That's why your depth comes into play, and we're extremely confident that our depth is really solid, and not just in numbers but in quality. So we'll look at who comes in the next game if he's not ready to go. But if he's ready to go, we'll have him in.
Coach, je voulais seulement commenter sur la force de caractère dont vos joueurs ont fait preuve pour gagner le match d'aujourd'hui.
Je pense qu'on l'a démontré toute l'année. Aujourd'hui, c'est un moment spécial parce que c'est des séries, parce qu'il y a tellement en jeu. Puis les partisans nous font une atmosphère absolument magique. Alors ça grossit un petit peu l'ampleur de la remontée, mais on a vu ça cette année, toute l'année. Nos joueurs lâchent pas. On crie jamais qu'on est mort. Puis on réussit à revenir continuellement. Alors je pense que c'est un autre exemple de la force mentale que nos joueurs ont acquis avec les mois. Et puis c'est ce qui a fait notre saison. C'est ce qui a fait qu'on est ici dans les séries. Puis alors je pense que c'est un autre exemple de ce qu'on a vu durant la saison.
Un match de 3 points pour Dion Phaneuf, qui a qualifié son but comme étant le plus gros but qu'il a marqué dans toute sa carrière. Juste commenter sur l'importance qu'il a joué dans le match aujourd'hui, mais aussi dans votre groupe de défenseurs.
Ben écoute, tu sais, quand tu tombes à 5, à un moment donné, chacun doit prendre plus de minutes. C'est pas facile. Et puis moi, ce que j'aime, c'est que quand tu regardes les gros moments de l'année, où ça a été le temps de vraiment sortir des moments sombres durant la saison, il a toujours été là. Que ce soit contre Dallas, quand on avait perdu quelques-uns en ligne, que ce soit contre des autres équipes, il a été instrumental dans notre remontée, dans notre caractère, dans notre chimie. Puis alors aujourd'hui, c'était un autre exemple de caractère. Puis c'est pour ça que c'est un de nos grands leaders. Puis il est comme ça depuis le début de l'année. Alors il y a ce qu'il fait sur la glace, oui, mais quand il le fait, contre qui il le fait, je suis bien impressionné par son leadership. Puis aujourd'hui, je suis vraiment content que ce soit lui. Tu sais, quand tu regardes, c'est un lancer foudroyant, mais tu regardes Burroughs dans le filet qui qui poste un écran parfait. C'est beaucoup d'aide, je pense. Chaque joueur a apporté beaucoup de caractère, dont Dion, évidemment.
Just your thoughts on that play on Brassard's goal, that set up by Karlsson.
Yeah. I think Brass is a real playoff guy. Had him before. He's an emotional guy that thrives on these moments, and he was terrific last game. Was terrific again tonight. So I think it's only fitting that he puts another one in. And I think Eric displayed the high-end quality player that he is. And the leadership that he's displayed all year wasn't just offense, it was defense. And if you look at his entire game today, he defended unbelievably, and he makes one of those plays that only a few guys in the league are able to do. And Brass is a gamer, so I think it's a great combination. But if you look, I think our guys were working hard at the net for the goalie not to see what was happening. And I think today we did a good job at that. We didn't do such a good job the first game at that. So I think that's something obviously that we want to keep doing. Yes.
Qu'est-ce que tu as pensé de la sortie de Marc Méthode qui n'avait pas joué depuis un bon moment?
J'ai été très impressionné. Très impressionné. Je vais être franc. On hésitait parce qu'on pense que c'est pas un bon joueur. On sait que c'est tout un joueur qui est capable d'avoir beaucoup de minutes avec beaucoup d'agressivité et puis de vitesse pour contrer la vitesse des adversaires. Mais je m'attendais à ce qu'il soit un petit peu rouillé. J'avais peur un petit peu comment il allait réagir. Puis c'est comme s'il n'y avait rien eu. C'est comme s'il était jamais parti. Fait que ça, c'est énorme pour nous autres. Parce que regarde, c'est pas un 5e, 6e, 7e défenseur. Là. C'est quelqu'un qui joue contre les meilleurs avec notre meilleur défenseur. C'est un apport qu'on avait absolument besoin. Puis il y a une grosse différence en troisième. Je pense qu'on l'a vu. Nos défenseurs avaient encore du jus. Puis une des raisons, c'est qu'un gars comme ça qui apprend de prendre beaucoup de minutes puis de suivre l'adversaire avec leur grande vitesse. Ce qui fait que ça fait une énorme différence pour nous. Depuis qu'il n'est pas là, ça a été beaucoup plus dur de gagner. Puis de le voir revenir comme ça, je pense que c'est énorme pour nous pour les prochains matchs.
You get such a high from Clark MacArthur's goal, but then how deflating was it to give up that short-handed one?
Well, yeah, that was deflating. But you know what? There's different things that can deflate you. Whether it's a goal like that, or you make another type of mistake, or you miss some goals. Sometimes you miss too many, and that's just as deflating. Yeah, but I'd rather have it there than have it in the third period like we did last game. We were in control of the game after 2 periods the previous game. And those mistakes came in the third period to kill us, whereas they came now in the second period where we had a lot of time left to gather ourselves and get back on the horse and gallop. So I think we galloped okay.
Speaking of that play, we saw a very animated Erik Karlsson speaking to Derek Brassard. How did you see that play unfold?
Oh, it was just a mistake, bad management. But then after that, I mean, everybody's trying to compensate. But the Eric and Brass, I wasn't aware of that, so I guess I'll have to look at the video from a media and fan perspective.
In front of you, but
Yeah,
yes,
it
you
could
can
be,
check.
but I was watching the video, so there could have been a lot of things around me. I went to really know what was going on, so I'll have a comment for you next game. How's that? Weren't they the two guys that scored that tire together? Oh, that's good. Then they can just scream at each other, then that's fine.
Is momentum a funny thing in the playoffs? So
I don't think it's just playoffs. I think it's all year. It's just in playoffs. Everything, the emotion is just so much higher that it seems worse. But we live it all year. It goes one way, it comes back the other, and that's what the league is. I mean, the parity is so apparent that at any moment, things totally change. And we've seen other games, whether it was last night or the previous nights with other teams. Other teams are having a hard time closing also because the third periods there's a lot of urgency, there's a lot of desperation, and once the team has that, it's hard to stop.